So this is the nosomev.as. Stands for nothing, something, everything, anything, specific thing. It's the whole system that this is. It's why it works. So inside, I showed the circuit board in an earlier video. But what was in it was a couple of things. Obviously, there were two wires that work together to maintain the flow and communicate the flow of physic, which is what I'm substituting for electricity here. And I'll explain where that comes from in a second. So the knot ties, pretty much the flow of physic, the tangible occurrence here is searching for the best route to exist at all times. And so it will investigate the circuit board and will find which path and which flows actually get it to a full connected circuitry, and it'll abandon all the other structures like the dead end ties of a knot, which instead of following the tails, it'll go through the tails, it'll search, then it'll realize that those tails go nowhere, and so it'll stop at the point at which the knots meet, and it'll create a channel flow through the knots to make it just as if it was a single line. And then there's the twirls, and what the twirls do, whenever I take two wires and I twirl them up, what it does is it creates a little slow gate. And what that slow gate does is the flow is still trying to get through, but instead of it just going through a sharp curve, it actually allows for the pace to control itself by going up into that little slow gate, and it keeps the energy in there for a while, and then it controls the pace so that it isn't an immediate sharp turn. And what this does is it also allows for that tangible flow to determine when it's best to change its speed of occurrence and all of that, to alter its information. And there's even that a bunch of tiny little interactions determining what happens next. And then I have the remaster, which was that little coil device. And what that does is it takes the flow and it puts it in a compact state that allows it to repeat itself enough to increase the speed of the constants, which is what allows it to occur in the first place, which is what keeps the whole device connected in structure. It increases that flow. It creates a secondary, not a secondary, but it creates a new channel that solidifies and allows for the speeding up and increased mattering of the concept to connect with all the components to become one EVIS. So the pixels. So all right. So once that develops the energy with the coils and the twirls, the remaster, once it determines what the best flow of production is, what the best flow of matter is, the remaster takes that figured out circuit and it just increases the amount of tangible energy, which is what I call physic. But I'm probably gonna change the name because I don't like it. And it keeps that going and it builds that up, and then it travels up into the pixel system, and the pixel system just justifies the connection with the brain, how colors and other senses work, and that combines with the system. Once all that tangible energy connects to the pixel system, it continues to go, which is why it has to build up a lot to pretty much not dismiss but expand beyond physiological explanation, which is just breaking it into its components. And what happens with the aluminum film here is that once it's developed enough of that physic energy, it allows for you to have what I call a tangible circuit within your own perception. And so you look at it, you have a reaction, and that reaction further fuels what occurs onto it. And so this film, what happens is that energy rises up, and you can see not really. I'm not really trying to describe a physical state here. It's more so like almost like how you would describe an illusion, not an illusion, but a what do you call it whenever somebody's like hallucinating? Almost like what you would describe as a hallucination, where your own brain, being a source of existence, interacting with everything, develops a connection that is going to you, back to it, back to you, back to it. And you can practice this until you develop the ability to really steer where you want things to go. And it's through that through the hosting of the aluminum film here that allows you to actually see images. I've gotten as far as faces. I've gotten some landscapes, and I've definitely gotten like the immediate measurement of people attacking me in the sociological sphere, whatever all that is. Inside, I have two grid ports located at nothing, nothing something, and specific thing. And what that is the initial host, which is just nothing something, it comes out of nowhere, and then the specific thing, which allows for specific creation and articulation of idea. And the specific thing is where I put the remaster. At the Nosum is where I don't know, that was anything. At anything is where I put the remaster. At Nosum is where I put the chip. It's a little computer chip, and what it does is it has a bunch of tiny little microprocessors that help determine not only your reaction, that helps determine through your interaction with the device and the flow of electricity and all of the other components that make this work. What you're thinking and how to best process that onto the screen without causing any collision. What it's trying to do here, all the energy working together, it's pretty much trying to make sure that you don't crash, that you don't lose track of what's happening. Because that's an important part of keeping it constant enough to actually see it and for it to all work. So with that, there is a little what I call it's a breaker pretty much, and what that breaker does is it guarantees my relationship with existence itself, to state that I have the ability, if I want, to alter its state of wanting to be, and because I'm choosing not to, even though I have that ability, it offers me the same deal and response, and so it's a deal breaker. And with that, combined with the micro nanoscopic processors inside of the chip, it's all working together to create a real flow of response that goes beyond physiological say ability. And at this point, if you're still only seeing this and not what I've described, it's just because you're physiological. You've lost connection with all of the structures that make these things occur. So yeah, that's where we are right now. I've gotten as far as being able to manifest full concepts, interacting with themselves and working on their own. I shouldn't say manifest. I really don't have an issue with that word. I just have an issue with the social connections that always steer back into a collision with a certain someone who I don't have this good enough of a relationship with. I don't care enough about it to be doing this. So that's crazy. So yeah, all of that put all together. Creates a real experience. Now, someone's gonna look at it and be like, "The screen's not moving, this and that, yada yada yada." Now, as I go further into this, there are gonna occur some physiological changes that go beyond anyone's ability to say anything. It's happened a couple of times already, specifically during one of the recent attacks on me. And that was when everybody kind of let go of all their restrictions to make what they wanted possible, just to get some attacks on me. And when they did that, it became more obvious how much this was functioning and real because of the steady flow and consistent effort that I'm putting into it, which is creating a solid, compact, logo tangible structure that can actually physically occur, and it's still at the point of stabilizing, but it's allowed to logo tangibly occur with stability to maintain whatever structures you're thinking and want to experience and want to see. So instead of your thoughts just being little haphazardous images in your head, this stabilizes your thoughts into a single place and allows you to practice a bunch of different concepts and explore, play games. It'll take a system. So let's say you want to you want to be dungeon gaming. You want to do a dungeon game. The processor takes in that information, takes in who you are, takes in the components around you. It takes all that information and it creates a stable experience for you to interact with and control, just in case it goes out of place. And also, it has that stabilizer that prevents you from losing track of your thoughts and your ideas. Now, earlier in the process, if I wouldn't have added all this new stuff, it was easier to break that structure of the connection with your mind and the nosomev. But because I've added the remaster, it actually makes it harder for people, for like disagreements to cause shifts and to keep you from remembering and keeping up with what you're doing. So I'm making a lot of good progress here. I'm actually really proud of this. And this is one of those times where I know that there are going to be some people that call me crazy, but because of how honest I'm being about this, it's actually one of the coolest fucking things I've ever done. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, this is so fucking awesome to me. This is really cool. So, um, just going to keep going with it. Definitely going to experience some better work. I've been logging all of my experiences with it. Hold on. That's my grid system. That's my how I describe when I want to build structures, where that structure is located within a grid, within a gridded system. I got the XYZ system to represent the page grids, and what the page is it's the 2D layer of square grids, and of square cells that when you connect two together become square. They become cubes. And so the page is the individual 2D square cells put together to form one little layer. And so if I wanted to describe the, what is that? The vertical coordinate for a physical location, I would use X. If I wanted to describe the horizontal, I would use Y. And if I wanted to describe what page it was on, whether it was on page 1, 2, or 3, I would use Z. And then I did the same thing for shelves. And what I call a shelf is pretty much when you take those two pages and put them together to make a cube grid. And so same thing occurs. If I want to describe the vertical, A. If I want to describe the horizontal, B. And if I want to describe the shelf it's on, C. This is what got me here. So this is the track log. I've kept up with a lot of what's going on, a lot of what's making it stable, and I feel like at this point I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of how much effort I'm putting into this. It stays real even when I don't want it, or not when I don't want it, even when others don't want it. And I should try to disprove it. That's what I should be doing. I should be myself trying to disprove it and then be beating those arguments. Oh, that's what you mean by a king myself. Yeah, I'm good at what I fucking do. If I want to make something not real, I'll do that shit. Fuck you. Alright, sorry. I'm good. Alright, bye.